Rosie, can somebody else but me see that that Tony Kosha's in the lobby waiting to get in? On my phone it is.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
turns red, that means the mic's on. Okay. Sorry, they sent me like 8 different things. I'm not on mute, I don't think. Can you hear me? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We're just trying to make sure all of our commissioners were on the line. And also apologies that everyone is not here today, unfortunately because of certain scheduling conflicts. And in fact, one of our commissioners has COVID. We want to make sure for the health and safety of everyone that we're aware of that and make sure we cover that. So I'm sorry that today you have me and my lovely commissioner next to me, Janine Bauer. The board meeting of the Gateway Development Commission is now called to order. Today we are holding a public meeting of the Gateway Development Commission's Board of Commissioners. Today's meeting is being held in person, but as part of the transition from virtual meetings as a result of the COVID-19 public health crisis, public comments will continue to be solicited virtually. Audio is also being live streamed from the Gateway program website. The Commission will solicit comments from members of the public who have signed up for in-person comment. The Commission is also soliciting comments from the public that may be participating today virtually. A form for soliciting these comments is posted on the Gateway program website for those who wish to submit a comment from today's meeting. Acting Secretary Caulfield, may I ask you to conduct the roll call and report on the public notice for today's meeting?
Thank you. Co-Chair Glenn?
Here.
Co-Chair Gray-Wall-Verk?
Here.
Vice Chair Kosha?
Here.
Commissioner Barbas?
Here.
Commissioner Bauer?
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Here.
Commissioner Rosen?
Here.
We have a quorum. Adequate notice of today's regular public meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Gateway Development Commission has been provided in accordance with the Commission's enabling legislation. The agenda and public documents pertaining to the board meeting have been made publicly available on the Gateway Program's website. Notice of the meeting was posted to the website 5 business days before the meeting, and public notice of the time and place of the meeting was provided to appropriate media outlets. A video recording of the meeting will be posted on the Gateway Program website.
Before we continue into the public portion of today's meeting, we'll be entering into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States. After the executive session, the board will reconvene in public session by around 1 p.m. or shortly thereafter to continue the meeting, during which we will hear from Chris Calori, our CEO, for an update on the Gateway program. I make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States or other grantor. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Janine. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. See you shortly. Afternoon again. I hereby reconvene the open session board meeting. Mr. Caulfield, do we have a quorum?
Yes, all commissioners are in attendance with Commissioners Barbas, Kosha, Dominguez, and Rosen participating virtually. We have a quorum.
Great, thank you, Mr. Caulfield. I want to welcome everyone back to today's meeting of the Gateway Development Commission. The next item on today's agenda is the report on the minutes of the December 12th, 2022 meeting of the board. I will turn back to Mr. Caulfield for a report on the meeting's minutes, please.
Copies of the minutes of the meeting of December 12th, 2022 were delivered in electronic form by myself to the governors of New York and New Jersey on December 20th, 2022. The time for action by the governors of New York and New Jersey expired at midnight on January 6, 2023, at which time actions recorded in the minutes went into full force and effect.
Thank you, Mr. Caulfield. We will now turn to our CEO, Mr. Chris Calori, Megan Strickland, and one of GDC's engineers, Andrew Basil, for an update on the Gateway program. Thank you again for joining us here today.
To give you a report on the progress we've made. Can you go to the next one? Yeah, please. So today, I'm going to give you a quick update on the progress we are making in 2023. We want to talk to you about a very exciting first project that President Biden announced a few months ago. We're going to ask the board to consider some actions today on it. We're going to talk to you about our updated contracting packaging strategy that we've been talking to the industry about. We're going to give you a quick update on the early works progress. And I'm going to end with asking you for your consideration on some of these resolutions in front of you. With that, let me go to the very first one. So in the last couple of months, we've had 2 industry meetings where over 500 participants came and they not only listened to our presentation, but more importantly, gave us feedback on how they think about risk, how they think about cost, and how they think about schedule. 3 very, very important points. I know the commissioners care about 2 more things, which is innovation and sustainability. So what we've tried to do is reach a broad spectrum of private firms to make sure that we get their feedback and input before we start to advance any of the packages. Next, please. The other thing that you all know is back last year in 2022, at the end of last year, we put out our procurement for a project delivery partner. The purpose of having the project delivery partner is to make sure we meet the financial, legal, and technical capacity mandates that the FDA has in order for us to qualify to receive federal funding. That procurement is going well, and we hope to have some news on that shortly. In addition, next please, Rebecca. One of the things I said to the board in the very outset, almost a year ago, is to make sure that GDC always positions itself to apply for federal funds to lower the burden on the states. To that end, we have to date applied for 3 specific grant programs. One is called CRISI, the other one is called RAISE, and the last one is the Fed-State Partnership. I must say the parties, New York, New Jersey, Amtrak, all worked very well together to make sure we work to apply for these very important and competitive grant programs. And we should be hearing, there was a public schedule that the U.S. Department of Transportation recently put out. We should be hearing the results of our submission in the not too distant future. The next slide gives you a perspective on where we are on our capital investment grant process. As you know, the CIG program that is run by the FTA is going to be one of the largest contributors to the Hudson Tunnel project. So we, as you know, have requested to enter into engineering, and we've been working with our federal partners at the FDA specifically to make sure that we meet every statutorily required step in order to advance into engineering in the not too distant future. A good corollary to that, or a boost if you will, is the President Biden, in his March 2023 budget, set aside almost $700 million, the largest funding recommendation to date for the Hudson Tunnel project. We believe and we're working towards making sure we still meet our full funding grant agreement timeline by 2024. What I want to do now is to, is me still? Okay. Is to talk quickly about the concrete casing. As I said at the very outset, President Biden was in New York not long ago to talk about how the Biden administration is going to set aside $292 million to advance the concrete casing project. Next, please. So in order to effectuate that and move the project forward, the board requires to consider 3 action items, which I'm going to respectfully ask you to consider. First is an execution of an SEP agreement with Amtrak to ensure that they provide the funding, construction, management, and other services on GDC's behalf. The second is the approval of a market case estimate, which is required under the project development agreement that the board adopted last year. And the third is an execution of the funding agreement that essentially lays out what New Jersey, New York will contribute along with Amtrak to make sure this project becomes reality. What you see when taken together is a roadmap of how other projects will come into play as we move forward. So this is a very thoughtful, methodical, and sequential way in which all sub-projects will be implemented. What I want to do now is to turn it over to Drew Basil, one of our technical staff members who's a licensed engineer, to give you a quick update on where we are on the contracting strategy.
Thank you, Chris. Afternoon. This is the Hudson Tunnel Project alignment overview that you're viewing here. The updated packaging plan that we're working towards now concentrates on the first 4 pieces or geographic areas as shown in the legend on the top right. We start with the Hudson River ground stabilization, shown in green. This is the area within the Hudson River on the Manhattan side of the river in which prior to any tunneling that's going to be performed, the ground there, the soft ground, needs to be stabilized, improved, strengthened, such that a later contract for the Hudson River Tunnel package that we'll talk in a few moments here could successfully bore through with tunnel boring machines from the New Jersey side across through the river and be extracted over at the 12th Avenue side, excuse me, in Manhattan. So that is the first piece of work that we are working towards. In the subsequent slides, I'll show some timelines, but for this slide, I'll just stay on the technical sides. That green box there shown is approximately 1,200 linear feet long and about 110 feet wide for that soil stabilization to occur within a confined area in a permit that's already been provided by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So the next package that we're advancing is the Palisades Tunnel package, as shown here in blue. The beginning of that package, that work geographically, is just east of Tunnelly Avenue in North Bergen, New Jersey. And its eastern extent ends in Hoboken, New Jersey, just south of 18th Street, bordered with Weehawken. So this package here is all through hard rock, tunneling through hard rock. But before we get to the tunneling portion, there is a open cut launching area for the tunnel boring machines just east of Tunnelly Avenue, approximately 300 linear feet long, getting us down about 40 more feet below grade to be able to set the tunnel boring machines. And the other construction site that we have for this package is where you see the location of the Hoboken shaft on your screen. That is a construction site owned by, or an area owned by New Jersey Transit. That's going to be a large construction site for the project. There has to be a shaft constructed there to be able to receive the tunnel boring machines that I'll get into next. So the tunnel boring machines that come out of the Tunnelly Avenue portal. It's 2 twin tunnels. We have a separation between the tunnels, and between the tunnels, as per the requirements of NFPA, we have cross passages between those tunnels. So the tunnels themselves and the cross passages would all be done within this particular construction package, with the tunnel boring machines extracted at the Hoboken shaft. So the next package that we'll be discussing, and we're going from order of release procurement wise from top to bottom on the legend, is the Manhattan tunnel package, shown in orange on your screen. Geographically, this is actually the smallest length of work that needs to be done, but there's a lot of sensitive, complicated work there as well, obviously on the west side of Manhattan. This package includes a shaft, a 12th Avenue shaft in block 675, lot 1, property owned by Amtrak, between 30th Street, 29th Street, and 12th Avenue to the west, or Route 9A. The idea here is that prior to any tunneling that would occur within the river that I'll discuss next, all of the known and unknown obstructions within the TBM's path would be cleared prior to that tunnel boring machine coming through, to reduce the risk of the tunnel boring machine getting hung up on any obstructions. So the idea here is, from the 12th Avenue shaft and from a temporary shaft within the Hudson River Park Trust jurisdiction, which is just on the waterfront, the land side and on the water side, the tunneling would be done by sequential excavation method between the two shafts, which would allow a way to clear all those obstructions and open up that space slightly larger in diameter than the future tunnel boring machines that would come through that area unobstructed to 12th Avenue. There's also a piece of tunnel across 30th Street from the 12th Avenue shaft that makes its connection and integrates with the HYCC3 package that Chris had just discussed. So the next and final tunneling package, main tunneling package under the P1 packaging updated scheme, is the Hudson River Tunnel, shown in purple. And now that, in order that it was presented, now that the Hudson River ground stabilization has been done and that area has been stabilized by an initial contract, and the Palisades Tunnel has been mined, shown in blue, and the Manhattan package has been mined by sequential excavation in orange. What this allows the tunnel boring machine contractor to do is to set their tunnel boring machines within the Hoboken shaft, launch those two machines through some rock and mixed face ground on their way to Manhattan until they get to the soft alluvial in the Hudson River, through the ground stabilization area, through the already excavated and cleared obstructions in Manhattan, and extracted within the 12th Avenue shaft. So that sort of picture right there with the four packages makes up all the tunneling work that would be done by mine excavation between Tunnelly Avenue and HYCC3. And then we have the Tunnelly Avenue overpass bridge that is moving forward on Tunnelly Avenue, just west of the Palisades site. So, we went through all the sort of the technical summary in the initial slide here, but this particular slide talks about the packaging strategy of these four packages that I just explained. GDC has announced just recently the new packaging strategy, which I just presented. This sort of alignment along the from Tunnelly Avenue to 30th Street is 2.4 miles of underground tunneling, split into the four packages that you see here. Not getting into what these packages are specifically, as they were covered in the earlier slide, but for packaging strategy, moving from the top of the list down. So the first Hudson River ground stabilization package in the river, known as Early Works Package EA1. So this has been envisioned and set as a design build package. What this does is provides the opportunity for the contracting community to provide innovation to the way that we deal with this area here. There's specific performance areas that need to be adhered by, the strength and the density of the ground stabilization that would need to be there for safe tunneling of the tunnel boring machines and for some future hardening of the outside area. But the idea here is to leave the innovation with the contractor for them to sort of work within the confines of the U.S. Army Corps permit in terms of the confinement area and different ways where the confinement could be designed and built accordingly. So that is the first package, EA1, design build. The second package is package 1A, Palisades. So again, this is the hard rock tunnel on the Palisades, New Jersey side of the river. This is envisioned as design bid build. A lot of this here in these packages are schedule driven, very important. So the idea here is when all of these 4 packages were in one large envisioned package before the new procurement strategy was released, the idea here is, take the time now, get the design done for some of these elements in terms of, the tunnels and the shafts to be able to get ahead of that. So when the procurement, when this goes out to procurement and the bids come in, the winning awarded contractor would be able to have a fully designed package ready to hit the ground, ready to go to construction. I will say though, within this package, the tunnel boring machine itself and the design and construction of the boring machine, the fabrication of the boring machine, including all the substation work to power the boring machine, that is all left to the contractor's means and methods in terms of how they will be able to set those standards based on the performance that's required from the contract drawings, bid drawings. The third package here shown is the Manhattan Tunnel. This has been shown as design build. Concept here again is to provide the opportunity for contractors for innovation on this side of Manhattan. This is a sensitive area. We have the Manhattan bulkhead. We've got tunneling under 12th Avenue, Route 9A, some sewer works that needs to be underpinned from within the sequential excavated method mine tunnels. So that really leads itself for the contractor to be able to take a look at different ways based on the performance that we require, the specs that we require, to be able to see how they would deal with both constructing that and dealing with some of the underpinning elements as well. So that's the Manhattan Tunnel section. Also, the 30th Street tunnel piece is also would be mined by sequential excavation method between the 12th Avenue shaft and the HYCC3 open cut tunnel on the north of 30th Street. The fourth package here, package 1C, the Hudson River Tunnel. So this is the tunnel getting you from the Hoboken shaft across the river into the 12th Avenue shaft, thus completing all the mine tunnel from Tunnelly Avenue all the way to HYCC3. And this is also visioned as a design bid build, somewhat similar to the Palisades Tunnel. The idea here is to get ahead of it in terms of the scheduling of the overall project and having the time to be able to design specific elements within the performance spec to get us to that point. But again, much like the Palisades Tunnel and in most, if not all, mine tunnel projects in the area where a tunnel boring machine is utilized, leaving the tunnel boring machine design and fabrication and all those elements to the contractor. Next slide. So this is a overall general schedule of all of the envisioned, at least at this point, packages for the entire project, starting with HYCC3 at the top, and then rounding out at the bottom the follow-up packages that won't be discussed at this particular time. But the 4 packages for the P1 work for the tunneling, the mine tunnel that we just went through, are highlighted in red. This is sort of just a high-level sort of overview in terms of design and construction. That's what this legend is showing you. I think in the next slide, you'll see a little bit more granularity, pulling those 4 packages and looking at that in a little bit more detail. So this slide showing in order of those packages being procured, Hudson River ground stabilization starting first, and then obviously the Hudson River Tunnel rounding it off. The idea here, for those that could see the slides, the color of the legend, the green, light green is design, period. The darker green is the procurement period, and the really darker green is the construction period. So the idea here is getting out in front of it. So the Hudson River ground stabilization in the sort of the middle bar shown by the procurement period, the idea getting the RFQ out by the end of this month in May, working through that to provide an award in basically the spring or winter of 2024, with the construction duration ending in the winter of 2027. For the package, for the Palisades Tunnel package 1A, shown on the next line, again the procurement period sort of in step with the Hudson River ground stabilization, a little bit longer because of the complications and the amount of scope that's in this package. This is the first major tunneling package to go out. But the idea there is a procurement package strategy that runs you through from, again, spring of this year, end of May, release RFQ, into the summer of 2024, followed by an award in the summer of 2024 and completion in the spring of 2027. So just approximately the same period of time with the Hudson River ground stabilization. I will mention that within the Hudson River ground stabilization, the reason that you're seeing such a long duration in construction is that there are seasonal restrictions within the river to be able to do the cofferdam work, both to set the cofferdam and remove it. Once you're in the cofferdam, there are no restrictions in working in the river. So that's why those two packages have the approximate construction schedule. And then going down to the Manhattan package, Tunnel Package B, as shown on the third line. This is set out a little bit longer, starting the procurement work now, finishing up in the fall of 2024 with an award in the fall of 2024 and completing that work in the spring of 2027. Hudson River Tunnel is out a little bit further, as shown in this presentation, preparing those three packages and getting that work constructed before any tunnel boring machine will pass under the river. It's a little bit farther out, but you could see that the procurement period would start in this summer. It would last till fall of 25, and then notice to proceed or award would be approximately fall 25, ending in spring of 2029. And now, Megan Strickland.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We wanted to provide you with an update on the early work Tunnelly Avenue Bridge and Utility Relocation Project. As a reminder, this work is a critical early component of the HTP. It involves the construction of a new roadway bridge to carry Tunnelly Avenue over the new railroad right-of-way for the new Hudson Tunnel project. It also involves the relocation of utilities out of the proposed right-of-way. And the new right-of-way will allow for a connection to the new tunnel portal at the western slope of the New Jersey Palisades. Prior to active rail operations, the project will provide access between the staging areas on either side of Tunnelly Avenue, therefore reducing friction between construction activity, utilities, and local traffic on Tunnelly Avenue. The construction management services and construction services procurements were advertised in February. The construction management services will be a small business enterprise set-aside contract, and the construction services is an invitation for bid. It's important to note this is the first Hudson Tunnel project that is managed directly by GDC. We anticipate starting construction in 2023. And there are substantial DBE commitments associated with both of these contracts. There's a 25% construction management services DBE goal and an 18% construction services DBE goal. As Drew mentioned earlier, GDC is working to release 2 other early works packages via a request for qualifications in the short term. The request for qualifications for the Hudson River ground stabilization will include a process to shortlist qualified bidders, a maximum of 5 bidders to be specific. It's a design build best value procurement. And GDC staff is proposing, in addition, a stipend program for the procurement for this board's consideration. For the Palisades Tunnel, that will also be a request for a qualifications process that will shortlist bidders at a maximum of 5. This is a design-build procurement using a best value approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. We have a few resolutions we would like you to consider. Edmund, can I go for public comment? Okay. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Chris, and of course Megan and Andrew for that tremendous progress update on alignment overview, package strategy, and early works. Truly impressive, and seems like you guys have been working around the clock. So thank you for that thorough presentation again. I know for the record that the commission has solicited in-person and virtual comments from the public in advance of and during today's meeting. A form of soliciting these comments was posted to the GDC website in advance of the meeting, and members of the public attending in person also had the opportunity to register today when arriving. The comments form for virtual participation was available throughout today's meeting. The commission received one virtual public comment by 5 p.m. on Monday, May 1st, 2023. If any virtual comments are received during today's meeting, they will be distributed to the board and posted on the Gateway Program website after today's meeting. All public comments received will also be filed in the commission's records. Mr. Caulfield will now conduct the public comment period for those speakers who have registered in person today.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Today we have 11 registered speakers. In order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, we request you limit your comments to 3 minutes. In accordance with the GDC open meetings policy, the public comment period may be limited to 30 minutes. The first speaker is Shelley Brindle, Mayor of Town of Westfield.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing for public comment today. I am Shelley Brindle, the Mayor of Town of Westfield. I'm also the founder and co-chair of the Raritan Valley Line Mayors Alliance. I want to thank you again for public comment and for your continuous efforts to move the critical Gateway program forward, and very encouraged by the presentation we just saw today. I am here today to represent our bipartisan group of 32 mayors from Union, Somerset, Hunterdon, and Middlesex County, and the 23,000 Raritan Valley Line users who deserve safe, regular, and reliable service into New York, and to offer our support for the actions and resolutions you are considering today. The Raritan Valley Line is the largest New Jersey transit line without peak direct service into Manhattan, and the potential for the Gateway program to add capacity and a peak one-seat ride into New York City for RVL commuters will not only improve the quality of life of our residents, but the economic prospects for our communities. The RVL Mayors Alliance is thrilled with the progress that have been made over the past few months for this program and its core component, the Hudson Tunnel Project, and we remain encouraged to see the significant momentum that was reflected in President Biden's visit that was referenced earlier in the announcement of the $292 million mega grant. The recent announcement of improved procurement strategy for this tunnel project, which we saw today, to advance the early work by dividing it up into 4 different packages, ensures a robust and competitive bidding pool from the industry leaders that will enable this project to be built. The demonstrated partnership between the GDC and the private sector is what will enable this transformative project to move forward and ultimately get done. As a former 20-year commuter myself, this has been a passion project for me. I always like to say I was never the mom I wanted to be when I walked into the door at night. So it's very personal, and it's one of the first things I did after elected was form this alliance to advocate for this service. So I've been a long time in waiting. I do know firsthand what the stress is for unreliable commute for families. So I do want to thank the GDC and the project partners for your continued work and commitment to bring this long overdue project to fruition. So thank you very much.
The next public speaker is Felicia Park Rogers of Tri-State Transportation.
Hi, good to see you. Good afternoon. I am Felicia Park Rogers, Director of Regional Infrastructure Projects for the Tri-State Transportation Campaign, a 30-year nonprofit dedicated to improving the region of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut's transportation. Today, I'm here to voice Tri-State Transportation Campaign's ongoing and strong support for moving the Gateway project forward. Time is of the essence in moving this national priority infrastructure project closer to achieving a full funding grant agreement with the Federal Transit Agency. We hope that there will soon be a determination to move the Hudson Tunnels project to Phase 3, the engineering phase. Toward that end, now that there is a completed memorandum of understanding between New Jersey and New York, we encourage you to pass the resolutions brought forward today. This project is not possible without a strong partnership and cooperation between the private and public sectors. We support the sensible revised procurement strategy to build the Hudson Tunnel projects by splitting the civil works into smaller packages. Splitting these projects up allows them to move forward more quickly and efficiently. In this era of high inflation, supply chain issues, and intense competition for engineers and construction firms, it makes sense to chunk up the work as we continue to move the project forward at the federal level. The indications from Washington, D.C., the mega grant for the Hudson Yards concrete casing project, and the good news that President Biden included an allocation of $700 million in the fiscal year 2024 budget are all positive. Let's move ahead on completing the concrete casing and the additional projects as quickly as forward. Thank you. As quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Bruce Hain.
Good morning, Commission and public. This is about the first time I've spoken in this room since in 30 years, I think. It was the Newark Elizabeth Rail Link last time, and my slogan, the Newark Elizabeth Rail Link is a transportation planning blunder, and it was. You see some remnants up at Franklin Avenue, but never mind that. A lot of grade crossings. I was surprised to hear about building a cofferdam in the middle of the Hudson this morning, because that's not in any of the environmental documents that I know of, and generally that's a public process. You have to document that stuff, and they've wanted to do it for a long time. They wanted to run a tunnel with a 4% grade in Penn Station and then one under 34th Street. They wanted to do many different things. It fit in with, when they wanted to stop, it fit in with that governor's, whatever his name is, his curmudgeonly miser, that he wanted to project, you know, his image that he wanted to project. It worked nicely, but they were faced with a 300-member class action suit to stop it. And they didn't want to do it. They arranged so that they would be faced with such a suit. But now we have this tunnel. You should really, the old tunnel is superior. It's vastly superior. It doesn't have the curves. It doesn't have the grades of this new one, which is too high up, so they have to stabilize the ground in the river. There's this program at New Jersey Transit with ICOM. They put in about $1 billion, something short of $1 billion, to do tunnel contingency work. But you can't find out what it is. I would suggest going from the Northeast Corridor west of Haynes Avenue or south of Haynes Avenue and going to Liberty State Park. You could have, it's less than a 10-minute ride across, and you can build ferry boats in, because you need to demo the old tunnel. It's finished. The water comes in a certain place. It's been doing it for 110 years with locomotives going 60 miles an hour into it. You need to demo it. And if you build the new one right in the area, then it disturbs the new one when you demo the old one. I have some cards here related to my article, Hudson Tunnel Project versus the Correct Alternative. So I wish you'd have a look at it, because it's not too late. But after engineering, I don't know. And you got to document that cofferdam.
The next speaker is Daniel Ortega of Elect Local 825.
Good afternoon. I had a lot of remarks here, but all the talking about boring early by the engineer had me really excited. Boring is not so boring, and once you get into it, you learn a lot about it. My name is Daniel Ortega. I am with the Engineers Labor Employee Cooperative, Elect 825. We are the labor management fund for the operating engineers, Local 825. We represent over 8,800 members and nearly 1,000 signatory contractors who employ our members. On behalf of our members and our contractors, we support this project. Our members in New Jersey and our sisters and brothers operating engineers in New York stand ready to work on the Hudson Tunnel project on day one. This type of infrastructure is significant. It means thousands of jobs across the New Jersey economy within the construction sector, and our members will enjoy in the employment gains. The hardworking men and women of Local 825 will continue to provide for their families and contribute to the local and the state economies. Our members proudly serve the communities they call home with pride, professionalism, and integrity. We rely on projects like this one for our livelihoods and overall quality of life, and look forward to bringing their expertise to this project. The Hudson Tunnel project is not solely about construction jobs. Our members don't just work here. We live here and raise our families here too. We also know the benefits of safe, reliable infrastructure for our communities. This project will help to provide the region with this project will help provide the region, improve the region in the long run. In order for New Jersey to remain economically competitive and a great place to live, we need responsible infrastructure development. This project delivers that. Once again, thank you to the Commission for allowing this critically important project to move ahead. We look forward to continue working with all of you. Have a good day.
The next public speaker is Christian Hartman from New Jersey Alliance for Action.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. It's my pleasure to represent the Alliance for Action, and on behalf of our president, Jerry Keenan. My name is Chris Hartman. I'm the senior vice president of the organization. The New Jersey Alliance for Action, we're a nonpartisan and nonprofit association that represents thousands of business, labor, government, utility, education, professional, and other New Jersey leaders. And our mission is to improve New Jersey's economy through the promotion of environmentally friendly capital construction and infrastructure investment. And for the last 50 years or so, we've been promoting responsible infrastructure investment in transportation, energy delivery, renewable energy, water, coastal protection, transportation, a lot of the state's needs. The importance of this tunnel has been evident for most of the history of our organization. And the events of Hurricane Sandy just pointed out the severity of the true transportation crisis that we're facing. In addition, the Gateway project is going to generate more than 70,000 construction and related jobs during the time it's being built. And the replacement is going to ensure the safe commute of more than 200,000 Amtrak and NJ Transit passengers who use these existing 110-year-old tunnels every single day. So today, I'm also pleased as we're on the cusp of several important milestones for the Gateway project, as we all know here, so I won't go into a ton of detail, but the actual construction of the tunnel, the imminent start of the Tonelli Avenue project, that's going to facilitate construction of the tunnel itself, and of course the two other important projects on the New York side of the Hudson. And for the past year, I pass it every single day. We've all seen what's going on the Portal North Bridge, which is also pretty incredible, and I'm sure everybody was sick of hearing the stories of a sledgehammer having to bang that thing back into place. We're proud to support the Gateway project, and we've been here every step of the journey, and our diverse membership is really pleased to see the construction begin. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the GDC has remained engaged with our industry, remained transparent and open during all of the various processes here. And these contract packages are a direct result of that engagement and that openness. The Alliance for Action represents the women and men who are going to design and build the tunnel, the utilities that are going to supply power to it, and those who are going to maintain it. And the Commission has participated in so many of our programs to better inform our membership to the benefits of this entire project, and our members are really eager to see this move forward, and we really appreciate that openness that they've had with everyone. So, look, the country needs Gateway. It's that simple. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today.
The next speaker is Robert Lewandowski.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, near and far. I'm Rob Lewandowski, and I'm from New Jersey Lesset. We are the Labor Management Fund of the Laborers International Union of North America. These are the folks who build our roads, our bridges, our buildings, and of course our tunnels. As a labor management fund, New Jersey Lesset's mission is really to work together, employees and employers, to ensure projects are built safely, productively, and to the quality that our project owners, like the GDC owners, expect. So regarding Gateway, I'm not sure there's a statistic I can share or a perspective that I can offer that you don't already know. I think we're way past the point where we can question the value of Gateway or even question the risk of inaction. So support, you have it enthusiastically from the 25,000 New Jersey construction workers and the contractors that I serve here in New Jersey. So support's given, but I'm also here to offer thanks. People say we can't build big things anymore, that people are too divided, and it's tough to find the money to do the big things, the things that are right. New Jersey Lesset, we understand the technical challenges, and heard a little of them today, the financial challenges, the organizational, the political requirements, the needs to communicate with the community and key stakeholders. You know, and then there's the moving goalposts and the surprise challenges and changes that occur anytime you have a program of this size and scope. So all that's to say, and I'm not saying anything anyone doesn't know, that none of this is easy. But for those that don't dig in and know this stuff or learn about this stuff, like probably the people in this room, I promise those other folks that it will be worth it. Our economy, quality of life is really dependent on a good infrastructure, transportation infrastructure that can move people and can move product both safely and efficiently. So I'm here not just to support Gateway, but to support you, commissioners, and the work you're doing, and just to have this opportunity to say thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Robert Campos of Labor's Local 472.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Robert Campos. I am a business representative for Heavy and Highway Local 472, Labor's Local 472, right here in Newark, New Jersey. We represent more than 7,000 skilled construction laborers who serve hundreds of heavy and highway contractors in northern and central New Jersey. I come before you to speak about the importance of this project. I know all the focus has been on what will be built with the critically important Gateway Tunnel project, along with the costs of such a build. Today, I would like to focus on who will build this project, as well as all the benefits that will come from the cost of a project of this magnitude. The Gateway Tunnel project creates good family-supporting jobs and benefits the greater community as a whole. This type of public investment has both direct and indirect benefits that extend well beyond the initial construction. A recent Economic Policy Institute study found that infrastructure investment is estimated to have a multiplier effect of 1.57. This means that every dollar spent on infrastructure boosts the GDP by $1.57. I believe that it is a great investment any way you look at it. This investment benefits the worker and their family, the communities they work and live and spend their hard-earned money in, and it makes much-needed improvements to our infrastructure, which benefits us all. The way I see it, it is a win-win-win. I would also like to point out that this is a bi-state tunnel project. I represent skilled laborers on the New Jersey side, but our counterparts on the other side of the Hudson also represent thousands of skilled laborers who will benefit from this great project. I mention this because the Gateway Tunnel project will have a regional impact on our economy, and when it is all said and done, it would have a national impact as a key connector of the entire Northeast corridor. I believe we are long past the point of debating whether or not this is a good project. We all know it is a great and much-needed project. Some may still argue that this is all about ridership and that it has nothing to do with them. This is about more than just ridership. It is about skilled workers, good wages, and a stronger economy. The jobs created and the growth of our economy will be an added benefit to building arguably the most important infrastructure project America has seen in generations. In closing, I would like to thank you all for your leadership and hard work to move this project forward so that we can put people to work, grow our economy, and keep people moving. Thank you.
Next speaker is Joseph Clift.
Good afternoon, remote as well as in person. My name is Joe Clift. A long time ago, I was head of planning at the Long Island Railroad. Before that, worked for Conrail. And I have 3 asks today to talk to you about. The first is to press New Jersey government to solve the $920 million hole in New Jersey Transit's budget that starts in 2 years, May of 2025. If you look at the process for getting approval to move through the CIG effort, the federal process, you look at the local operator and you say, can that operator actually, can we see that that operator will be able to function running the service once the tunnel project is finished? That's New Jersey Transit. This $920 million hole is 30% of the budget that year. Only 200 can be blamed on COVID. It's a major problem. New Jersey Transit doesn't have a problem for 2 years, but you do, because to move through the process, to move to an engineering letter, to move into engineering, you have to look at the finances. This is a major problem. So what I'm asking you to do is to pressure everyone here, to pressure New Jersey, whether it's fare increases, funding, you name it, that hole may be a problem for you moving forward. It's just too big to wish away. Now, there was a financial plan put out October last year that completely ignored this reality. GDC put that out. There's nothing about gaps. There's nothing about major problems. Last month at the board meeting, New Jersey Transit approved a 4-year forecast that details this problem. So I asked the board here, if you check, you know about this problem, I think you have a fiduciary duty to tell the FTA there's a problem. Don't hide it, and let's get it fixed. It's very important. One last thing. Someday, you guys will follow your own rules. The documentation for this meeting was released after 3 o'clock yesterday. There's a 72-hour requirement in the law, the bi-state law, and there's a 72-hour requirement in your policy. Please follow the policy. Now, I tried to get my statement, I hope you have this, 2 pages, to get it to what, you've got 5 people attending remotely. Your public affairs people would not do that. So try to be a little more customer friendly. Follow your own rules. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Christopher Boylan, General Contractors Association of New York. And Sophie Capello of RPA.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sophie Capello, representing Regional Plan Association and the Build Gateway Now Coalition. Our coalition is comprised of over 45 civic, labor, business, and elected groups united to support the nation's most urgent infrastructure project. Thank you to the GDC for inviting public comment today. The Gateway program has continued to make impressive progress, including the $292 million mega grant from the Biden administration and the initial $700 million from the Capital Investment Grant Program. This is the first of what will hopefully be a significant sum of federal dollars for the critical Hudson Tunnel project, and a testament to the work that project partners have done to demonstrate the project's national importance. We applaud the GDC for their wise decision to divide the Hudson Tunnel project into 4 contract packages to advance early work and create a more robust and competitive bidding pool. By working hand in hand with the top industry leaders that will build the tunnel, project partners are keeping their promise of delivering a state-of-the-art 21st century tunnel as efficiently as possible. Our coalition has been working to engage and inform the public and press on the importance of the Gateway program. In February, we released an explainer video highlighting the enormous benefits the program will bring to the region in terms of reliable service, jobs, and economic opportunity, and the environment. A couple weeks ago, we published a lab post explaining the step-by-step process for securing a full funding grant agreement for the Hudson Tunnel project that covers what project partners have already achieved, as well as what lies ahead before the agreement is reached. Finally, we'll soon be releasing an interactive map that takes the user through all 11 projects along the 10-mile stretch between Newark and New York Penn. All of these can be accessed at buildgateway.org. Congratulations to the GDC and project partners who have continued to move the Gateway program along over the past few months, and again, we applaud this wise decision to divvy up the contract packages for the Hudson Tunnel project. Thank you again for your leadership and for welcoming public comment today.
Thank you. That concludes the public speaker portion.
Co-Chair, at this point, I would respectfully ask the board to consider the following resolutions. I'll take it one at a time. The first resolution establishes GDC's annual board meeting schedule for the 2023 calendar year.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment on this resolution? I make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, can you please call roll?
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. The next resolution I would like the board to consider is the appointment or the creation of an audit committee, governance and operations committee, and a projects delivery committee.
Thank you, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment on this resolution? Therefore, make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
Yes. Second.
Is there any discussion? Move this motion to a vote, please. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Consistent with my remarks about the concrete casing project, I have three resolutions. I'm going to call them by one at a time. The first resolution I'd like to consider is a market case estimate for authorizing and executing the SCP agreement and the funding agreement for the concrete casing project.
Thanks, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment on this resolution? Make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. The next resolution authorizes an amendment to the Hudson Tunnel project, project development agreement.
Thanks, Chris. Do any of the commissioners wish to comment on this resolution? I make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Ms. Tony, is there any discussion? Move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Graywall-Verk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The last resolution I would ask the board to consider is to authorize a stipend program for the Hudson River Ground Stabilization Project.
Thanks, Chris. None of the commissioners wish to comment on this resolution. make a motion to adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Janine? Is there any discussion? Move this motion to a vote. Mr. Caulfield, please call the roll.
Co-Chair Glenn,
Yes.
Co-Chair Gray-Walverk,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rosen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Madam Co-Chair, I want to thank you and the commissioners for your cooperation, the collaborative effort which led to the resolutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for your hard work and dedication. Thank you. Really appreciate it. There being no further business to conduct today, I motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Janine. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move this motion to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for being in attendance today.
Thank you.